Should King Charles abdicate? Y'all forgive the terrible video yesterday. I tried a new editing software. It was mixing things up and I'm just going to keep editing how I normally edit on the place I normally edit on. But back to the question at hand, and before we get there, let's talk a little bit about something new. As you probably already know, Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg on June 23rd announced his plans to appoint his heir, hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume, lieutenant representative, which means a regent, this coming October. Now, in the Luxembourg Grand Duchy, this typically means that in the future, Grand Duke Henri is going to abdicate. His father abdicated in 2000, Grand Duke Jean, and Grand Duchess Charlotte abdicated in 1964 before she made her heir, Grand Duke Jean, lieutenant representative in 1961. So the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg is no stranger to that. However, this follows a long line of abdications of monarchs within the world, not just Europe. For instance, did you know that Cambodia was a kingdom and they had a king? In 2004, King Norodom, and please forgive me if I mispronounced that, but yeah, abdicated in favor of his son. In 2006, King Jigme Singye, I know I butchered that, abdicated in favor of his son, the now current king. We know in 2019, Emperor Akihito abdicated in favor of his son, the now Emperor Naruhito. Queen Beatrix, the then Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands, abdicated in favor of her son, the now King Willem. King Juan Carlos, albeit his was scandal-ridden, abdicated in favor of Philippe in 2014, with the most recent being a Queen Margrethe of Denmark, abdicating in favor of her son, the current king, King Frederick. And there are a couple others, but you get my point. Now, going back to the question on whether or not Charles should abdicate, and again, I apologize for the multiple uploads of this, but hopefully this video is fixed. If you've watched the other ones, then you know I said, no, he shouldn't. I think Charles should be that last British monarch that serves a life term on the throne. And similar to what I said, again, if you've watched the previous videos about Elizabeth should not have abdicated, because here's the thing. Charles was never stable. He married late. I would say late for a royal man at the time. Then he had to obviously have heirs and raise the heirs and do the work. But during that, him and his wife, the late Diana, Princess of Wales, started having problems going on for about 10 years, which resulted in a lot of scandals. And then she passed away, and then he wanted to marry the woman that everybody hated. And then that happened. And it was just so much that truly Elizabeth was like, no, ma'am. There is no stability in you, and there is no popularity in you, and there is no popularity, especially in now your new wife. And the monarchy would suffer, as you can see in the United Kingdom now. Out of everybody who has since became monarchs of their respective countries, Charles is the most criticized, probably the most disliked. I won't say hate. Some people may hate him. I don't, because, who has room in their heart for hate? But he's definitely one of the most disliked, if not the most disliked sitting monarch on a throne today. And obviously, we all know he waited so long in order to be on the throne that, that man is not going to give it up. I would be, not only him not giving it up, I don't think the British government would allow him to give it up, to be honest. Ever since the abdication of, I believe, Edward VIII in order to marry Wallis Simpson, abdication in the United Kingdom is a no-go. To be honest, I could foresee no British monarch ever abdicating. However, with not only their European cousins, but their Asian counterparts, Middle Eastern counterparts, everybody is just like, look, I've reigned for enough time. My heir is well and prepared. Let them take over. Which I'm very inclined to agree with, because who wants to celebrate a coronation at the death of somebody's parents? It's quite sad, honestly. When I went to the United Kingdom for his coronation, it was an exciting time because, again, I'm getting to see a real life coronation in person. But also it's a reminder that, damn, Elizabeth is gone. I've been to London many of times, the United Kingdom, and, when she was queen and all of that, But now it's completely different, and the feeling was felt. So I say that Charles should remain on his throne. And if a new precedent of abdicating in favor of your younger heir would happen, I think it should start with William. Obviously, I think William would have a longer reign than Charles just because, I mean, he's younger. Charles is much older. I give Charles 20 years. That would make him into his 90s, which makes sense because his mother, father, and grandmother all lived into their 90s, and longevity tends to run within that royal family. So let me know in the comments, do you think Charles should abdicate? Do you think he should be the last British monarch to serve that life term? Do you think William should set the new precedent of British monarchs reigning for a period of time and then abdicating in favor of, their younger heir? And it has nothing to do with age, because we could see Elizabeth be able to do the job for the most part well into her mid-90s. But I think it really lies within the fact that in order for, him to become the monarch, he has to pass. And what that could do for a child, no matter the age. Anywho, as always, comment your thoughts below, and thank you so much for watching. Mwah. Bye.